What's a baker's dozen?
It's 13.
Oh, so it's just more?
Mm-hmm.
Why that saying?
I don't know.
Baker just throws you an extra one?
Why couldn't a baker...
I've never come across a baker like that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It's never happened to me.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Check tonight. Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. It's a beautiful day in BG, boys. Good to be in the Sode Shack with y'all once again. Bobo, welcome back from vacay. Good to have you back in the shack. Had to come back a little early, I think. Weather was not looking too hot down there.
It was a frantic couple of days. A lot of driving for 36 hours of sunshine.
Did you get you a good beach meal? Eat you a good seafood restaurant at least?
Man, one of my favorite places to eat. Fish on the water, watercolor.
Mm-hmm.
Good,
Yes,
golly. They got a
yes,
sweet tea
yes.
chicken sandwich to die for.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, watercolor. We've taken a trip there.
We have, yes. We went with the families.
One of the
there.
best trips of our life.
Yes, unforgettable.
Yeah.
Unforgettable.
Unreal.
Did you take him golfing?
No, absolutely not.
You did go golfing.
Yeah, he
didn't you?
didn't join us.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely not.
You and Con.
yeah, it was. Con was down there.
That's right.
And
I forgot that Connor was
Our
also
friend
down
Preston
there.
King was down there as well.
That's
so
hilarious.
It was a random,
Just
great
a
trip.
random assortment of dudes, but hey,
Yeah, it worked out.
on the golf course, it all
Right.
comes together
Good
beautifully.
People seem to find each other.
You know,
You have said that.
Sure.
on Wednesday when we were leaving, my wife was like, hey, we should go like home, like to her house, to South Carolina. And I was like, I think I've seen some models showing they're going to get a lot of rain. And I don't think they still have electricity. So,
Wow.
dude,
Yeah.
rough life for people in Asheville, South Carolina.
Horrible images.
You know, Eastern Tennessee. That's some tough stuff. I-40 just fell in.
Yeah, man.
Pretty rough down there. Old Cowboy, we should check in on him. Atlanta got hit pretty hard also.
Yeah. Hopefully, if you're listening to this and we're in the path of Hurricane Helene, you're doing all right. But yeah, some scary stuff coming out of there.
There's another one coming.
I think it's less than 50% chance of forming right now is
Okay.
what I've heard.
I
Because
gotcha.
Allie was looking into that tonight. Because, yeah, Connor's supposed to be going down to the beach with the family next week. So it's like, do they go? Do they stay? It's a free place to stay. Do you just go and come back if it's not good? You know,
Yeah.
that whole fun game to play. So, but welcome in. We're glad you're here. It is the Week 4 recap. We are going to be going through about a dozen storylines from the week that was in IDP.
What's a baker's dozen?
It's 13.
Oh, so it's just more? Mm-hmm. Why that saying?
I don't know.
Baker just throws you an extra one?
Why couldn't
Yeah,
a baker?
I've never come across a baker like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's never happened to me.
Where are the bakers that are giving out like an extra donut or cupcake or
I
cookie
don't
or
know.
something?
Yeah, Riley's, you always get shorted. You know, you get the 12 thumbprints and come out and you're like, why'd I have 10? I paid for 12.
Yeah.
This was $8.
Yeah, that would make more sense, right?
That's
baker's
a baker's
dozen.
half dozen.
They
Yeah.
ate
10.
one.
Yeah.
Right?
They had a taste test.
It's 11.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to meet that baker.
I should order that next time. Next time I go get donuts, give me a baker's dozen, please.
And they just
Straight
absolutely
face.
smack you in the face.
They're like, no, we're gonna give you 12.
Go to
Yeah.
Gad's.
We're gonna have to ask you to leave.
The charger for a single.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not a baker's dozen tonight. It's just a regular dozen storylines.
We may be able to throw another one in there.
We may be
Sure.
able
Or
to.
take one
Sure.
away.
Never know. We may short you guys from what we've said here at the top of the episode. But, boys, let's jump right into it because we got a lot to talk about. And there's actually some good stuff. There were some injuries this week. Bye weeks are starting up. So lots to talk about.
Old Kentucky boy here. What about them Cats?
I was going to say, let's jump right into it. Get the win over Ole Miss and Trevin Wallace. It might be Trevin Wallace season in Carolina, boys. Shaq Thompson pour one out. We wondered with him coming off this injury, just being advanced in age, 30 years old, how's his body going to hold up? Unfortunately, season-ending ACL tear. He confirmed Monday morning on social media he will miss the remainder of the season. Josie Jewell should move into a full-time role in the middle, but he's nursing a hamstring injury that caused him to leave Sunday's game early, too. If Jewell can't go, rookie Trevin Wallace might be in line for a bigger role. Carolina took Wallace in the third round of this year's draft out of Kentucky, and he's got athleticism in droves with a 4.51 40-yard dash, 37.5-inch vert, 127-inch broad jump. Trevin Wallace is one of the guys you were talking up, Addy, as a great late-round rookie draft target. we kind of wondered if he might get his chance this season. Sometimes it comes by injury. Looks like that chance may be here for Trevin.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think we'll definitely see like a larger snap share, no doubt. But I mean, there's also this character named Claude Cherilus there who played pretty well in the preseason. So he's got an opportunity, I think, to see more snaps as well. But
Clausder? What was the name?
Claude
Cherilus.
Cherilus.
So there was a Gossard
great.
Cherilus that was a lineman for the Colts back in the day. I don't know if that's maybe a brother, but there was
I'd
a
say
Cherilus.
so. I'd say they're related somehow.
That sounds like it's got to be a relation, right?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, this is good stuff for Trevin Wallace. That's kind of what we expected, that it was going to take an injury for him to get his opportunity. But Trevin Wallace, one of these type, he's not going to be like a super high tackle rate guy, but he's going to have some big play upside. So we comped him to like basically like the Frankie Louvu replacement, like a guy that could get like 100 tackles, 4 to 5 sacks. So that's the type of player I think you're looking at with Trevin Wallace. And yeah, if he does end up getting like a significant snap share, like he could be a really nice piece for you this year.
Yeah, I think it's worth putting in a little waiver claim on if he's out there, because this Panthers team needs a spark. You know, they've got a little something with Dalton. I think they're going to be scrappier than they were going to be with Bryce Young. And this defense now, especially if Shaq Thompson and Josie Jewell, those are probably your two best defensive players, with Derek Brown already lost for the season. This team needs playmakers in the worst sort of way, Bobo.
Yeah, Adam's right. 166 tackles over 3 years at UK. But 19 TFLs, 10 sacks, and 3 interceptions.
There we go.
Exactly right. A little discount, Frankie Louvu. And, we've been talking about this all year. Shaq Thompson's just, how much Shaq Thompson do y'all have? I don't know that I have any Shaq
None.
Thompson.
I don't think I have any.
Just not a whole lot of confidence in him.
Was a fan 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 2021 you felt pretty great. But I don't know. This is probably the end for Shaq Thompson. And I hope Josie Jewell can come back, because he's still rostered in a lot of our, we've got him a lot of places, so we have some value there. But yeah, Trevin Wallace, I'm really interested to see what a higher snap share could be for him, because that dude could be a real good rookie linebacker for us.
We're seeing some rookie linebackers get some run. We're going to talk about Payton Wilson a little later.
It's the Panthers. Give him some run.
Exactly. What do you have to lose here, guys? You're kind of in evaluation mode with the entire roster, and especially as bad as this defense is, you need young playmakers. So just throw the guy out there, let him learn on the fly, and just go from there, because you're not making the playoffs.
Nobody playing good for that defense.
You're probably going to be in line for the number 1 overall pick again, so you can reset at quarterback if you want to. So
Jordan Fuller's on IR? I didn't know that. Fuller's on IR. Derek Brown's on IR.
Tyquan Lewis just hit IR, so Leatu Latu should be in for a bigger snap share.
Yeah, that team was already bad. Already wasn't deep.
Yep.
A lot of
They'll have
defensive
DJ
linemen.
Wanham coming back at some point,
true.
so that could be like a volume play for you.
Did you
snaps.
say DeMarcus Lawrence IR as well? He just hit IR today.
Yeah.
Foot injury, I think it is.
They haven't put Parsons on IR, but it is a high ankle sprain.
They should.
Yeah.
They should. You got your bye coming up.
Yep.
Just put him on IR. Doesn't make a lot of
Everybody's
sense.
doing it.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. Just be one of the cool kids. Put him on IR. Let it ride. Well, let's move to a division rival of the Panthers and talk about the Saints. Boys, as we all expected, the Saints have the number 1 and number 2 DBs by a considerable margin. Paulson Adebo, certified baller, double-digit tackles in back-to-back weeks, and his 3rd straight game over 18 points by Big 3 scoring. Thanks to 2 interceptions in the past 3 games, Alontae Taylor also had his 4th straight game of 13 points or more, thanks to his 3rd and 4th PDs of the season. Taylor and Adebo are the clear DB1 and 2 so far this season at 22 points per game and 21.5 points per game. Next is Xavier McKinney down at 16.25. These guys are absolutely dominant. We like these guys as DB 3-4 options. Nice. I picked up Adebo just I think week 2. It was I need a nice kind of spot start here. Let me just plug this guy in, and it's okay, I guess I have the DB1 now.
No, he's awesome.
Wasn't
man.
expecting that.
People sleep on him for whatever reason, right? He was good last season. Last season, he had a top 20 defensive back season. So
and Alontae Taylor was good last year too.
Alontae Taylor was good. He plays in the slot there, playmaker type. Always been a big fan of Alontae Taylor. And yet New Orleans, they've just always had productive good defensive backs.
Well,
So
Honey Badger.
Honey Badger.
Honey Badger was having a great season.
He's top 12. I'd
Yeah.
say he had a down week, but he's still
Banged
probably
up.
up there. So yeah, I mean, I think they're going to continue to be great options for the rest of the season. So
Yeah, Paulson, Adebo, 100% of snaps. Alontae Taylor, 93% of snaps last
yeah.
week.
And Marshawn Lattimore's good. Like he was a best ball target for me all off season. So
Paulson Adebo helps. He was targeted 13 times in
Yeah.
week 4. So he's getting thrown out a lot.
well, and that's because you got Marshawn
Exactly.
Lattimore over there. So he's
Exactly.
gonna get more of the targets for sure.
Two things. They're playing a lot because, weirdly enough, the Saints are a good offense this year. And a lot of these teams are having to throw the ball to kind of catch up. So I think they're, 44 snaps in week 1, 66, 47, and 52.
It's not the Colts, but it's still pretty good.
Correct. And then the other thing I want to say, too, Carl Granderson, damn, having a great season.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Good golly. Best pass rusher for the Saints so far this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, by far. It's funny, as good as their DBs and as good as Granderson has been, their linebackers are
Yeah.
just a complete mess so far with Demario Davis missing time. Pete Warner stinks. Willie Gay went out.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah, it's been just a rough go.
Speaking of, did you see Kaliki Hudson getting a little bit of play last week for the Brownies?
For the Browns, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's fun. My most rostered player in best ball for some reason.
Jordan Hicks also went out in that game, so yeah, I guess that was why he was getting some playing time. But yeah, if that's like a serious thing and he's going to be his replacement, like
He went out pretty quick. 5 snaps, I think it was. Jordan Hicks was yanked for the injury he was on the injury report for throughout the week. So that's not great if you just re-aggravated the existing injury.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on practice reports with Jordan Hicks. He might be out this week.
Also, Jaelan Phillips, did he end up coming back after he
I don't
hobbled
think
off?
so. No. We're still waiting on word, at least from what I've seen on Twitter today. I have not seen anything about Jaelan Phillips.
He looked frustrated, but I didn't get to catch the rest of that game.
Did you see him walking down the tunnel?
Yeah.
He was doing the, kind of like Quay Walker, not a full-blown pout session like Crybaby Quay had, but just upset.
Yeah. That's
Like,
gotta
I
be-
can't believe this is happening
And that's
again.
got to be frustrating, Just work your tail off all off season. Everything seems like it's, okay. You're getting snapped. You're playing.
You're getting volume.
Yeah.
This was 6 hours ago. Jaelan Phillips' knee injury is still being evaluated. He was in good spirits last night and today. I'm pretty comfortable saying he won't be available on a short week. Information will provide clarity if it's a multiple week injury.
So hopefully it's like a 3 to 4 type
Yeah,
deal.
I haven't.
But either way, he's
sprained MCL, something like that.
He's probably not someone you're trusting at this point.
No.
I
think you gotta-
You probably have better options. He's more like a, defensive lineman 30 to 40.
That's what I was going to
for
say.
you this
yeah.
season.
Like a DL 3-4 type of option. Well, speaking of knees, no ACL, no problem for Payton Wilson, who has overtaken Landon Roberts as the LB2 in Pittsburgh. Wilson played 56% of snaps to Roberts' 32% and had a solid game from a PFF standpoint, 74 overall, 72.5 in run defense, 78.5 tackle, 81.6 pass rush. The fantasy points have yet to materialize, but if you can buy low on Payton Wilson right now, that window might not be open forever, so you may want to take advantage, Bobo. I think Payton Wilson, especially with how bad Patrick Queen has been to start the season, I watched that game, Steelers-Colts. Payton Wilson was all over the field. I think this dude is coming on.
If he comes on, what are we going to do with him? What's your plan?
I mean, it depends on.
Kiss him.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the snaps. If he's getting a lot of snaps, I'm definitely going to kiss him.
Well, so Adams basically said, if Payton Wilson shows a little bit of pop early on in the season, we're going to let him rip. We're going to let him go.
Yeah.
That was with, I think I was in agreement with that assumption. If Patrick Queen was playing at the level we thought he could play at,
Yeah.
I think there is a possibility that by the end of the season, it could just outright be Payton Wilson.
I got a weird question for you.
Yes.
In Dynasty, do you want Payton Wilson or Jack Campbell?
Oh, man.
It's close. It's closer than it should be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably...
You
So
want to
still-
say Campbell, but you kind of want to say Wilson too.
Yeah, I want both of them. I think they're both cheap enough right now to where you can...
It can get better.
Yeah.
What was the snap share for Jack Campbell last night? Do we know?
I don't know, though. No one's I feel like you're not getting competitive offers if you hold either of those guys right now.
Yeah, Jack Campbell was still 68% of snaps.
And with the Payton Wilson talk, like, I think I was making those statements about, like, sell him quickly.
Yeah.
Like when we thought he was going to be, like, the first linebacker drafted.
I gotcha.
Like, potentially, like, into first, round draft capital.
Yeah.
No later than, second round.
Yeah.
So
needs to put, like, kind of some more tape together for his value to build.
Yeah, and so I think that kind of, like, hurt him a little bit, just, like, perception of him. Fall into the third round, like the end of the third round, right?
Yeah.
And then also, like, the stuff coming out about the knee.
Yeah.
That's not – you don't want to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like that's not really a secret anymore that this guy is –
Would you sell him for a second right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Could you get a second? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Not yet.
I
I
gotcha.
don't think
Maybe
the buzz
a Steelers
is quite
fan.
there.
Maybe
Yes.
a Steelers fan.
If you've got a Steelers fan, because I think they are seeing what we're seeing, which is that this is the best graded linebacker by PFF for the Steelers, and he's already overtaken a Landon Roberts, who he liked, who was solid last year.
Yeah, 41.1 overall PFF grade this season for Patrick Queen. So
I think it might be a matter of time before it's just outright Payton Wilson as the LB1.
yeah, I don't disagree. And then, I mean, dynasty-wise, like we talked about it a good amount, how Pittsburgh does have an out after year one.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's why I don't think there'll be any harm in just pulling the ripcord this season.
I think so too, right? They're gonna have to make a choice. Like, do we pay this dude almost $15 million per year, who just was terrible for us for the most part, or do we just roll with this Payton Wilson guy that looked pretty damn good and is an athletic freak?
And think about this team. This team is great at like draft and developed, right? I mean, you look at the edge rushing talent that they've had for years there, and it's like this team is very good on the defensive side, especially of drafting guys. It's not as often that they bring in these sort of outside free agents or via trade. I mean, I think Minka is a good example of a guy who came in via trade, but by and large, this is a draft and develop organization. So if they can plug one of their, top 100 picks into the lineup and not have to pay a Patrick Queen, I think they're going to do it.
Have him for 4 years.
Yep.
For cheap.
For cheap.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point, Josh. Draft and develop don't necessarily, the guys that they brought in free agency, have they panned out? If it's a wide receiver or if it's a linebacker or a defensive end, Pittsburgh's been pretty damn good.
Defensive tackle, too.
Yeah. Cam Hayward.
Keanu Benton.
Yeah.
And Tomlin does not care.
No.
He strikes me as the type who is just like, I do not care who is out there. Yeah. Whoever's getting the job done, doesn't matter. Speaking of a coach, though, in that same vein, doesn't care about your free agent acquisitions. I'll just read the subtitle here because I thought it was good from Aaron. Vic Fangio, God, please make it stop. Is it possible that Vic Fangio might just not have it anymore? Through 4 games, the Eagles have allowed the 4th most yards, the 9th most points, and are bottom 5 in sacks. Aaron said he also saw a tweet where Nolan Smith was in man coverage against Chris Godwin.
That's smart.
Eagles get their doors blown off by the Buccaneers this weekend. This is a hot seat season for Nick Sirianni. A lot of buzz about like Bill Belichick to the Eagles.
Wow.
Bill Simmons is tweeting about hiring Nick Sirianni for the Ringer when he gets fired this season. So I think Doug Peterson's head will probably roll first. And then I think you could see Nick Sirianni getting the boot as well. So
wow, really?
Yes, 100%. This is something I have a good finger on the pulse, and I'm telling you, these two guys are not making it through the season as things stand right now. So if that happens, I think Fangio could be out the door as well because this defense has sucked.
I mean, I feel like Peterson could have been gone last weekend after that game, but I didn't think that Sirianni was that close to maybe losing his job this year.
Rumors last year, right, about him getting fired.
The problem is that it's hard to point to what he does.
Okay.
Because he doesn't call plays.
Sure.
He doesn't make late game decisions. He's revealed this season.
Really?
No, he basically is fed the information and then just vomits out whatever he's told to do in these late game decisions. So And he's already done the thing where he fired both of his coordinators, brought in new coordinators, Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio. That is the final move you see right before a coach gets fired.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you've replaced both your coordinators. We're still paying these guys salaries that you just fired. This is it.
Was he responsible for A.J. Brown coming in? He wasn't there yet.
I think he might have come in at the same time as the A.J. trade.
I gotcha.
Because I don't think it was the previous coach, whoever that was.
Yeah, A.J. Hurts.
It was Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
It was Doug Peterson.
I saw a tweet that said A.J. Hurts when he doesn't have A.J. Hurts. That's funny. Jaelan Hurts when he doesn't have A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith, and it was a picture of Daniel Jones in an Eagles jersey.
Yes, it's
It
true.
was super comical.
This team has not been good.
Has Saquon been okay?
Yeah,
he's been awesome.
Really?
Yeah, he had that one blow-up game, that first game of the year, right? Brazil, he looked amazing.
I mean, I think he's gone over 100 in every game except the last one.
Yeah,
he's
been
close
good.
to it. He's been good.
So I
back.
think it's just like wait and see with the IDP assets because there might be some changes coming in Philadelphia. Because right now, I mean, who's balling for that team besides Zach Bond?
Yeah, no. And we talked about it last week with Sam, like I just don't think that defense is that good anyway. I think they're kind of hyped up and overrated.
Josh Sweat has done nothing.
I mean, Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, it's like the only guys that are really like blue chippers would be like Jalen Carter.
The interior.
And that's really it.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Davis, I guess you could,
Milton Williams at times.
as far as like run stuffer goes.
I mean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson has been a consistent punchline on Twitter because he wore number 8 to honor Kobe. And so you always see like Kobe in heaven looking down as he's getting burned.
Like not happy with him.
Yeah, he got absolutely torched this weekend.
Where's our boy Cooper DeJean?
I think we'll start seeing some more Cooper DeJean here soon because this secondary is getting torn apart.
Trade Bond now before it falls apart. How long is that ride going to last?
The Bond ride?
Yeah.
I think it's going to last all year, right?
Yeah,
he's the one piece I feel good about.
But I mean, at some point this year, you probably need to cut bait.
Yeah, I mean, if you can cash out, I feel like.
Yeah,
you can cash out for a second.
for sure.
Yeah.
Do that.
I'm letting it rip.
It's, I mean, pretty much any linebacker, if you can cash out for a second, do that.
Third, you going to cash out for a third for Zach Bond? Because it could be, it could be over. The ride could be over after this year. Also, it could like be a couple more years though of Zach Bond. Like he could parlay this into like a nice little career.
Could be either. Yeah, you're right. It could definitely go both ways with Bond. You could look up in 3 years and be like, dang,
this is
Zach Bond's
this
still
is Alex
good.
Anzalone now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you could look up next year and be like, wow, that was just a perfect storm for Zach Bond.
Yep.
They had
It's
nobody
over
else
for him.
there, and he just looked
Vic Fangio
really
knew
great.
how to use them.
Yeah, mopping
Right.
up tackles. You're right. That's a polar opposite. Type
Well,
of guy.
you mentioned it. He was like the Andrew Van Ginkel for Fangio last year in Miami, right? Because he can play edge. He was playing edge in New Orleans and never played, and then he's much better as an off-ball linebacker. So Fangio just knows how to use these like Swiss Army knife kind of players. I think better than a lot of coaches do, and that's why we're seeing this with Zach Bond.
Yeah.
Cashing out for a third, probably not.
I don't blame Fangio that much for the Philly situation. Again, like it's kind of a tough deal for him. Come in there last minute, and the pieces aren't that great. We hyped him up too much, I think. So
It should be better than it is, though. You should not be bottom 10 in pretty much everything.
I don't know.
Bottom 4.
yeah, it's just like
4th most yards, 9th most points, bottom 5. That defense has better pieces than that.
You're putting a lot of trust in Bryce Huff for like 9 games.
right. Yeah. Again, the pieces are okay. I think it's Jalen Carter is the real nice piece you got, and then around it's like our linebackers are Zach Bond, Devin White, and Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, not great.
And
also, if you're seeing tweets floated about, no, the Eagles cannot get Hassan Reddick back because 2 years have to elapse, you're in a dark place 4 weeks into the season. Yeah.
And I think we should talk about Hassan Reddick. Someone asked me this weekend on Twitters about Hassan Reddick, if they should just cut ties with him. And I was like, yeah, man. I mean, to me, it kind of feels like a Chandler Jones situation, where this could be it for Hassan Reddick. Because with him leaving the Jets, like you haven't heard a lot of people come out and like say good things about Hassan Reddick, or it seemed like no one cared.
It seems like nobody's seen Hassan Reddick.
Nobody knows where he is.
Yeah.
Nobody's talked to him.
The dude is like
Even
just
if-
eating millions of dollars,
Even
tens
if
of millions of dollars.
Dude shows up and there's a trade or something that happens, what type of shape is he going to be
Exactly
in?
right.
We're going into
You
week
maybe
5.
have him for the stretch run.
Yeah.
By the time he gets traded and then gets back in game shape.
I've seen him dropped a lot of leagues, and I've thought the same thing of like, do I go grab him?
I don't think so.
If you don't have like an IR spot or somewhere you can just like put him, I'm with you. I think you just let
Now,
him sit.
you could see some of these teams that have had edge rushers go on IR, like could have Dallas, right? Who's just
Kansas
lost.
City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kansas City.
That's the scary part. Like if you cut him and then he signed with someone like that.
Kansas City seems like the type that would do that.
If
know,
you've
they-
got-
Right.
if
they've
you've
kind of
got-
brought in the
There's a few
Kadarius
teams that
Tonys
think, right?
and the
There's a few teams that feel like that they could handle someone
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, if you've got deep rosters, yeah, I guess, but I don't know. Shallow, medium to shallow leagues, I'm cutting him loose.
Yeah.
I don't think he's worth holding at this point because we don't know. You may have a golden ticket. He may sign with the Chiefs or a Dallas or something, or he may just sit
He's
out
also
the
like
entire year.
30 though.
Yeah.
Right? He's right there. So I mean, you
yeah.
at best you have like what 3 or 4 years of
maybe Leonard
edge
Floyd.
to that type of production.
You know who should trade for him? I don't know if they have the cap room. Be the Bills. You just lost
Yeah.
Von Miller
Yeah.
4 games for the personal conduct policy.
Yeah.
What did he
Still have-
do?
We don't know. We have no idea. I guess we'll wait to find out.
He's had a
but-
rough late career.
He's kind of suspended a lot of times, right? I mean, this isn't his first suspension. This ain't his first rodeo.
No, he is very used to the suspension
Seems
list.
like a maybe not great person, but
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty
but
safe
he
assumption.
seems to mentor all these young edge rushers every offseason.
Maybe not great. Let's go. Speaking of young edge rushers, the change of scenery is working wonders for Dorance Armstrong, boys. He's starting to get things going. He's now got 2 sacks in the past 2 games after adding a sack and a half this week to his half sack last week. Currently, he's on pace to equal his career high of 8.5 sacks in 2022, and his 2024 pressure rate and pass rush win rate are improved over those 2022 numbers. 14.5 pressure rate, win rate 15.8. In 2022, those numbers were 11.4 and 8.5. Addy, I know you were a Dorance Armstrong fan going back to Dallas. He goes to Washington, follows Dan Quinn there. The Commanders are balling right now, and I think Dorance Armstrong's a big part of the reason why on defense.
Yeah, no, Dorance Armstrong is legit. This is legit. I think he was one of my flag plants, 10+ sacks. So
Who wasn't a flag plant?
It's true. It's true, but this is tracking like most of them seem to be. So yeah, I mean they paid him nice this offseason. He got like a 3-year, $30-ish million, somewhere around that range. So I mean, yeah, they had great plans for him. You know, he had familiarity with Dan Quinn previously in Dallas. So yeah, this was a perfect fit. He's got great help along the interior there. So gonna get a nice, healthy amount of volume. It's, over 60%. That's what we're looking for, man. This guy's like basically in the prime of his career,
Right.
So yeah, this was a no-brainer to me.
3 years, $33 million contract, max value of $45 million.
Damn, I didn't even realize that it had incentives built into it.
So he's incentivized to ball out, and he has been balling out so far, Bobo.
Speaking of not balling out, though, Deron Payne has not done anything this year. He has 4 tackles on the season and a half a sack. Really wasn't playing much to start. 63% snaps in week 1, 73, and 61. So I wouldn't be real surprised at some point in 2024 to see the Commanders maybe move on from Deron Payne. Is Jonathan Allen doing much better?
That's what I was going to ask, if you could look up
Let me pull him
Jonathan
up real
Allen.
quick.
I think he did better last week. But yeah, but both of them have started off slow.
Yeah, so Jonathan Allen, similar. 2 tackles, 1, and then he did have a good week last week. He had 5 tackles and a sack last week against Arizona. But with Jerzon Newton there coming on, old Johnny, I don't know. I know I'm beating a dead horse, but I think one of those guys is gone at some point this year.
I mean, it would make sense for San Francisco. We've
Yeah.
mentioned this before. You just lose Javon Hargrave for the season. Could be a nice little move there.
Hey, they may not be sellers though, man. That Jane Daniels got
Yeah,
that team
that's
looking.
true.
I know. It's just like, if you have a guy, though, can you cash out and maybe, get a nice pick from a needy team right now if you have an excess of riches? But it always is good to have depth along the defensive line, for sure. Real quick, KJ Henry was a guy we liked there this offseason. He floats around on some different practice squads, end up in Dallas. So pay attention to that. That could be a sneaky waiver ad if you're in really deep leagues with I mean, it'll be Marshawn Nealon. I think Carl Lawson is there. I think KJ Henry is a name to pay attention to in that group.
I was actually already surprised at how many snaps Nealon was getting. So, I mean, he's going to continue to get volume there, especially now. So he's a good target too, I think, because he's probably out there everywhere.
And Sam Williams, popped an Achilles or ACL?
ACL. So,
yeah.
Tough times there in Dallas.
Did a lot of injuries along that defensive line. Marshawn Nealon, they need this kid to step up, and we'll see if he does. Will Tyree Wilson step up? I mean, he at least had the opportunity this weekend. Mad Max Crosby missed the first game of his career this past week with a high ankle sprain. They gave the number 7 overall pick from last season the start off the left edge. Wilson had a rookie year to forget, playing only 43% of the season snaps and averaging 4.6 points per game. He's been quiet again this season so far. However, it's good to see him getting increased playing time opposite Charles Snowden, who started in place of course, Malcolm Kuntz is on IR, Mad Max is out. So, again, a lot of defensive line injuries that we need to be tracking. Addy, Tyree Wilson, new life, ?
I mean, I know he's not really delivering, the stats that we need him to for fantasy, but I mean, 75 overall PFF, 7 pressures on 50 pass rush snaps. So, I mean, that's a very healthy pressure rate. He's going to take some time, he's not going to be someone that's probably going to be ready for us until year 3 or 4. So,
and it is funny. We're like, he's moving inside. He's bulked up. He's looking huge. And it's like, Tyree, get your ass out to Mad Max's spot. We need you.
You don't belong in there. Yeah, you don't know what you're doing. You haven't been there.
They're dropping like flies. We got to get you out there. It's you and the Snowden character. Who was like doing WikiLeaks or whatever out there opposite. Just a weird. Devontae Adams now is requesting a trade. Antonio Pierce is liking Instagram posts about Devontae Adams playing his last snap for Las Vegas.
Yeah,
so
I feel like Pierce won't be there for much
I think
longer.
Pierce might be gone at the end of the season.
Yeah,
it felt like kind of an emotional hire where Mark Davis was like, what am I supposed to do? Max Crosby's threatening to hold out.
Yeah, right.
Devontae Adams is doing the same. So I think Pierce is already in over his head a little bit. So, and they could let him go in season too if things went really sideways, because you have Lovie Smith there as like an assistant head coach, so they could just plug Lovie right in there.
Lovie's been the interim head coach for like 18.
Wasn't it Lovie? I think no, it's not Lovie Smith. It's the old Bengals head, Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis is the assistant head coach there.
Yeah, I feel like more losses are coming for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out Robert Spillane. I think he's linebacker 2 right now.
Yeah, beautiful.
Balling over 10 tackles every game. Guy's a freaking stud.
He is good.
Yeah,
he was like ADP wise was like linebacker 20. That was my call out on the Dark Horse LB1 episode.
John and I talked about that on the preview episode we did. I said that's one that might actually come to fruition because Spillane is just looking tremendous.
That's not going to slow down.
No.
He's going to put up stats.
I wanted to see Fred Warner is LB1 right now. Far, far and away. 92 points by Big 3 scoring.
How about Fred, man?
The log so far, 11.75, 44.75, 7.5, and 27.75.
Wow.
Hopefully.
And that was just a half.
Yeah, because he was injured. He had 28 snaps. He put up basically 1 point per snap he was in against New England.
Love to see it.
So just tremendous. Just tremendous.
What something I'm ashamed to even admit. I kind of like watching Malcolm Rodriguez play ball. There's a little bit of me that's like, dude's
sick.
That dude's kind of fun.
That's a sicko statement.
LB4. We're pulling our hair out over here.
That dude's kind of fun.
Bobby sees himself in Rodrigo.
I wish he gets a little bit more PT. I like the guy. He's got heart.
Like
no
the
long
thing he
hair.
wears around his neck.
Sure.
Like some type of Bluetooth device or something.
Yeah, around his neck, right? It kind of looks like headphones.
It's the Tony Pollard thing. It's like there's some science behind that.
No, I'm sure.
It's
some scam. It's the newest scam.
It's like remember the Shaq bracelets that have the little insert?
Balls.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's supposed to give you like a better. What?
I'm not in pain anymore.
Yeah. Like what?
It's all in your head, dude.
The copper wires.
Yeah,
running
the copper
everywhere.
bracelets. That's what it was. Shaq was
Yes.
advertising these things. Everyone had them. Yeah, so I don't know how we got here from Tyree Wilson, but another edge rusher that we are very excited about, Addy, you were especially going into the season, was Kyle Van Noy, second in the league in sacks right now, I believe, behind Aiden Hutchinson. who leads the league. Number 2, Kyle Van Noy. After a quiet week 1, Van Noy has 2 sacks in each of the past 3 games, averaging 29.32 points per game in that stretch. Sheesh, I hope you went and got him after week 2. If he was available, Odafe Oweh is 1.5 sacks away from his career high of 5. We know Kyle Van Noy is great. Broken orbital bone be damned. Are we getting sucked back in on Odafe Oweh?
I'm not.
I'm not either.
No. We
told you all, just go get Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, and we even talked about this already with Oweh, you know, and he let us down. Remember, he had that big game week 2,
And that's what we said.
And
You
we
plug
said,
him in, and what's going to happen?
Week 3 is going to not be fun, guys, and he was held under 5 points week 3. So yeah, it's just too up and down for Oweh. I don't ever trust that he's going to be consistent, but Van Noy's a damn baller, man. And it's a great reminder of like these guys can age well at edge rusher. I get any position really, you know. But Van Noy, a guy that was really never someone that anyone cared about for his entire career, and then here, you know, the last 2 years of his career, like he's relevant for us, and he's an every week, you know, option.
Baltimore crushes Buffalo in that game, looking good.
Yeah, I mean, he was in on like the biggest plays of the game.
Buffalo's in trouble.
The game that really the play that really shifted the entire momentum. Josh Allen got a little shook up from it too, you know, but
got his bell rung, I think.
That's why you bring in a guy like Van Noy, man. It's just a leader and a guy that
brought
knows.
him back, right? Because he was a free agent. They brought him
Clowney
back.
walks, re-up Van Noy, and it took him a little bit to get him back. I think that one went like late into the offseason. But yeah, man. I mean, that is a great marriage for both those people.
3.25 points. Of course, he only played 20 snaps because, again, he broke his face. But then since then, 30.45, 27.9, 29.6. Bobo, I know you got a little man crush for Oweh. So I think you're still in on the guy.
I don't know. There's nothing really to be in on, you know, because the issue here is, all right, he's got 4 sacks on the season. 3 of those came in week 2 against Las Vegas. You take that game out, which I know, you know, it happened, but let's just say we don't. We got 1 sack on the season. The pressures are okay. Now, the PFF numbers last week were pretty good. Overall, defensive grade of 89, a pass rush grade of 86. The pass rush grade this year has been pretty good, 86, 77, 82. But the other issue is he only has 7 tackles on the year. So if the dude doesn't get you a sack, you've got a 0. You know, you're not getting anything out of this guy. And so that's kind of the play here with a guy like Van Noy. Some of these outside linebackers that aren't just pure edge rushers, they can stack you up a couple tackles. And even if they don't get you a sack, they don't give you a goose egg. So I do like Odafe Oweh, but I probably like him for the NFL more than I like him for actual IDP.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like Bryce Huff last season.
Yeah.
A guy that got over 10 sacks, but still when you look at how he finished on the year, I think he was like defensive line 50, right? Average like 10 points per game.
Yeah, was not impressive.
Because the tackle floor, like you just mentioned, like it's just not there for Bryce Huff or guys like Odafe Oweh. So yeah, I'm not in on those types at all.
He put up 2 points against Dallas in week 3.
Yeah. So it's either 2 or 20.
Yeah.
You know, and it's usually 2.
And even like, you know, you say like, well, they're better plays in best ball. I don't know. Sometimes guys like that aren't, you know. I don't know that I want a guy like Oweh in best ball.
He was going ahead of Van Noy.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Doesn't make any sense.
Just because they have a low floor and a high ceiling doesn't mean they're good in best ball. Like, I still like a high floor.
Yes.
You know, sometimes that's a little bit safer. Van Noy was a free agent at XFL a couple weeks ago.
Adam scooped him.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Claimed him off waivers. Had better priority.
Was he a waiver?
Yeah, someone dropped him.
I thought he was.
He was on waivers, so it was just purely priority.
I saw him. I was like, that doesn't belong there.
Yeah. So he's going to be my starter every week.
I was going to say, you're plugging him in every week, right? This guy's an every week starter.
Man, I've got the rotation I have is just ridiculous. It's Jaelan Phillips, Will McDonald. Who were we just talking about here?
Van Noy.
Yeah. Van Noy.
Who are you on?
So, I mean, just like it's a question mark every single week.
Your ends are fun. Ends are fun.
But it's not a good thing, in my opinion. It's been frustrating to start. But Van Noy is going to be a mainstay, no doubt. Like
just plug him in and let him eat.
Right.
Let the big dog eat. Well, hopefully the big dog in ATL will get to keep eating. Troy Andersen gave us a tease of what might be to come. The highest scoring IDP on the week finally flashed some of that 10 RAS talent we've been hoping for against New Orleans. He took a Matt Judon tip drill to the house for a pick six on his way to the highest IDP score of the week, 41.45 points. He also compiled 16 total tackles on just 75% of snaps. That was due to a knee injury that head coach Raheem Morris said he's day-to-day with. The Falcons do have the Thursday night game versus Tampa Bay, and it's also the first round of bye weeks, so probably better to grab a replacement. I think Mike wrote up J.D. Bertrand. Rashaan Evans signed to the practice squad. It will probably be Bertrand before it's Rashaan Evans, but hopefully this is not a serious knee injury for Andersen.
Yeah, I hope not. But, man, what a game.
What a game. This is what we've been talking about is possible with a guy like Andersen.
Right.
And he's just never been healthy enough to have this opportunity and run with it for a full season.
Do we know when Landman is coming back?
So he was on IR, I believe, in week 2 or 3. So I'll look and see while you're talking, Addy, to see when he might be eligible to come back.
Great things, though, with Troy Andersen. I mean, you love to see what he's doing with his opportunity here. But I do worry a little bit with Landman coming back, because those dudes were pretty much splitting the snaps when he was there. So
well, and especially with Andersen now banged up.
Right.
I think if Andersen could have stayed healthy and just played 100% of snaps, I don't think Landman gets his job back.
Yeah, I agree.
He went on
doing stuff like this, I mean, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, he went on IR September 20th. So that would have been, after week 2, I think?
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, Atlanta could be thinking the same thing. Like, maybe Troy Andersen's going to be a type that struggles to stay healthy because that's been the case so far in his career. And we have this capable guy in Landman. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Andersen, but I'm also like, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, we got a glimpse, Bobo, and it was pretty juicy, but
starting for now. I mean,
yeah,
for sure.
Just stay healthy, bud.
Have you seen his picture on PFF? With
he
the
has
handlebar mustache.
Yeah,
and he has one of the thickest necks, I feel like.
Oh yeah, 6'4", 235.
Well fed.
College, Montana State Bobcats.
That's why Montana
Yeah,
State.
he
That's
looks like
that
he's from
Monday
Montana.
night football,
Sure. That's life.
Troy Andersen, Montana State Bobcats.
Yeah, I mean, look at that neck, y'all.
I've never heard him talk. That's just my estimation.
Yeah, I feel like
He's
that's
in the running
accurate.
for the thickest neck.
Yeah, he's
Corn-fed
he's a thick
boy. He's a corn-fed boy.
So was that Dick's Sporting Goods the other day and thought,
Great
what?
store.
I'm just going to throw a helmet on. I've put a football helmet on in
Oh, wow.
a long time. Let's just see.
It's a bold choice,
Them
Bobo.
suckers are heavy.
Yeah.
You need your thick neck. I think me just running around, I might have some type of concussion.
Yeah,
or
you probably do.
a neck strain
Yeah,
or
you
something.
need to
just
go-
from no contact involved at all.
Your head's
Running
running
with
around
a
like
helmet.
this.
Would y'all sport the foam helmets?
The Guardian caps?
Yeah, the Guardian caps.
No, I would rather
Josh is taking every
have
precaution
CTE
necessary.
than wear
And
the
look like
Guardian
a
caps.
dweeb.
Yeah. Someone said, someone posted the picture of Brian Robinson with
Yeah,
the humongous hat and said, "You won't even notice the Guardian cap." It's like, this is what you look like with this thing on. It's like, I don't blame anyone that wears it. It is obviously helping reduce concussions, but you just look like a
Yeah.
dweeb, dog.
Just look whack.
Yeah, it's just the drip is negative. We have found what inverse drip looks like, and it's this.
I think one of my favorite things from the season so far this year is just Baker Mayfield cooking with the visor. Like
Yeah.
he's kind of got the clear visor going on.
Dude, he's having a moment, dude.
Him and Darnold,
Darnold.
dude.
Just lighting
Just
the
like
league on
we
fire.
all thought.
Yeah.
Then you got 17-year vet Joe Flacco coming in for the Colts, man.
Hey.
It's the year of the back Andy Dalton.
Hey,
I know, man.
It's the year of the backup quarterback.
I hope A-Rich gets his job back.
I would like to see maybe just take your time, Rich, with the hip pointer. Come back
Maybe
when
a
you're
couple
'cause
years.
He was having a nice game. I think that got lost in the
I gotcha.
kind of mix there. They were driving for their second touchdown. So
That feels-
A-Rich was
that
playing
feels
well.
like that's going to be the story forever.
I'm afraid
yeah.
It's always
so.
going to be, he was having a nice game
Yeah.
before he tore his
Got
ACL. You know?
He also got drilled helmet to helmet by Minka Fitzpatrick. I don't know if you guys saw this. Nothing called. Minka wasn't trying to spear this guy, but it was helmet to helmet contact.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the hell is this flag? A-Rich gets destroyed on the regular. No flags.
Yeah, he's got to learn to protect himself a little better too. As soon as he got the first play of him coming back in from being hurt, he ran
that was a Shane
an
Steichen
option
facepalm
and got
moment.
drilled
And
immediately.
the hip gets
and then that
knocked
took him
out
out of the
again.
game.
Yeah, he's out for the rest of the game. So
His Colts coach pretty fine. He's okay.
Yeah, he's great. That was just a really dumb move.
But I'm just saying he's safe this year.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I mean, Flacco definitely raises the floor. He lowers the ceiling too. That room is like this big,
Yeah.
but the floor is considerably higher with him than
Yeah.
Richardson.
Yeah.
Just because the footwork's not really there, the accuracy's not really there right now with A-Rich.
It's just hilarious how all of a sudden you're like, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman,
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah.
You guys are alive. It's good to see.
Harry, you're alive.
Pretty
You're
much.
a terrible shot.
It's a classic movie.
I love that one.
Did you all have you all been enjoying the Monday night kind of double feature?
I hate it.
You hate it? Really?
I'm not a
I'm
fan.
a fan. I love it.
I think we're going to get it. I think you may be looking at maybe not next season, but 2026, we're going to have Monday night doubleheaders every single week. I'm just telling you all the ratings have gone up with these doubleheaders.
Yeah.
They're coming.
It just seems
I've
like
always loved it.
And it seems like always one of those games just a turd.
That's why they
okay.
That's why they did it. I think Brett Coleman was talking about this, that the reason that they have 2 games is you double your chances of having something watchable.
Now wait, are y'all double screening these? Are y'all going
Yeah,
to YouTube and putting them both on at the same
I'm
time?
usually trying to watch both of them at once.
Okay.
I'm usually, if they're
You got
both
to.
good games, right? Like I
Sell-
was flipping
sell-
back to
sell me on
Titans
this.
Dolphins last night.
I didn't have both those on at the same time.
I was locked in
But
on Seahawks
If
Lions.
the game's good,
Yes.
yeah, I'll go out of my way to make sure I got 2 TVs set up or something.
2 TV set up or your picture in picture?
Whatever I got to do. 2
Whatever,
TVs.
whatever's available.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just too much overstimulation for me. I can only focus on one
You
game
got
at a
commercial
time.
breaks and
I
know,
guess.
you can do it. I believe in
I
you.
was only flipping back to watch that Dolphins game. That was atrocious. We got another Will Levis meme.
Yeah, man.
Just
Dude.
on
Every
a
week.
all-time heater right now.
What was homie doing?
I think he was getting his foot and ankle examined, and it was like, oh, that hurts. is,
Man.
I think what the face was from.
Dude,
But he had the Dawson. I said it was the Dawson Creek crying meme where he's doing like
Yeah.
that. I mean, just
that was a
some-
good one, Josh.
Just some classic Will Levis moments. We really need to savor this because
we're 4 weeks in, and it's pretty evident homie's not going to work out in the NFL.
it's sadly Jover for Will Levis, another Kentucky boy. But Kerby Joseph, touchdown bandit, y'all, for the Detroit Lions. All 3 of his interceptions so far this year have come as contested catches in the end zone. That is wild. Proceed with caution, though. He is averaging 18.5 points per game in games where he has a pick and 4.5 points per game in the one game without. However, his 9 tackles this past week are massively encouraging. So, Kerby Joseph, you could do worse.
I like Kirby.
Nah.
He was good last year, and yeah, I mean he has this big play upside. He had it last year. Reminds me like of a Jason Pinnock type, right? But I mean he's got the role there. We all thought it was going to be Ifeatu Melifonwu,
Yeah.
but
Nope.
IR.
and it just wasn't him anyway. He wasn't getting the playing time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was because he was banged up and stuff going into the year, but Kerby Joseph was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's not going to change, and he's doing well with his opportunity. And yeah, I mean he's out there on waivers, so you can do worse than Kerby Joseph.
Yeah, he's a starter.
Yeah,
That's something.
that makes plays.
Yeah.
He's a top 40 safety.
Yeah. There's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it, but it was just worth mentioning because it's just a hilarious stat that 3 interceptions, all contested catches in the end zone. So good job by Kerby Joseph saving his team some touchdowns there.
Fun game last night.
Man,
Yes,
Aiden.
great game.
I know we talked about Aiden a lot, but that guy is hard to handle.
Yeah,
He is in on every single
just
play.
nonstop.
Yeah.
I was a Seahawks fan last night because I was going against Sam in our main league.
Okay.
I had one player. I had Tyrell Dotson. I was up 25 points. He had 6 guys from those 2 Monday night games. And he had Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown on Detroit. So I was like, I want Seattle to have the ball
Yeah.
so that,
Game script.
yeah, so he's not getting points for these offensive players. But he also had Aiden Hutchinson.
Nice.
So every time
Ah.
he goes back to pass, I'm like, look out, throw it, go, no. Just because I'm riding. Sam ended up beating me by 3. But I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is the freaking boogeyman. If you're in that situation where you're just hoping that you don't get crushed by like a huge Aiden Hutchinson sack, it is so terrifying.
And he usually comes on at the end of the games too, right? Like there were so many times last year where it seemed like that dude had like 2 sacks in the 4th quarter, and you're like, okay, this dude suddenly he went from 0 points to 30 points.
Yep.
in a
Very
matter
quickly.
of 2 drives. So, yeah, he's pretty special. Also, talk about Tyree Snight a little bit. He's getting some playing time there.
Yep.
9 tackles last night. He put up 6 in week 3 and 7 in week 2. So,
And
pretty solid for the rookie.
Yeah, and doing so on a less than ideal snap share, 73%. But, for a rookie, that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
For IDP, we'd like better, but, I mean, as long as Jerome Baker's out, this is encouraging sign from Knight.
Just good stuff from a dynasty lens.
Yes.
Not someone that we really expected to see much year one. He was, a 4th-round pick, but he was someone that I was pretty excited about, really impressive tackle rate in college.
I mean, add him to the list of rookie linebackers who've already put their stamp on the season so far.
Right.
We heard some Edgerrin Cooper buzz with the Packers, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We got Trevin Wallace now, Payton Wilson, Tyree Snight.
That's what we need to do. The years where we think these linebackers are drafted highly, you don't want them. The years that it's like, they're just in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, go get them.
Yep.
Go get them.
I mean, seriously, I got a
Jack
ton
Campbell's,
of Tyrese. I got a ton of
yeah.
Trevin. All those guys were there in the 5th. Even Payton Wilson was like a 4th-round pick for the most part.
Exactly.
Yeah, he fell because of the draft stock, right?
Yep.
So next storyline here, we've already talked about a little bit. Jaelan Phillips banged up. We kind of covered that. But Emmanuel Ogbah had a boom game with Jaelan Phillips gone. A pick that he caught basically with his thighs. That was hilarious.
It was pretty cool.
1 pass defended, 1 TFL, 1 QB hit, making his presence felt in all aspects of the game. You should be scoring those plays, by the way. So if Emmanuel Ogbah didn't have a great game by your scoring system, that's something you may want to look at. But, man, if Jaelan Phillips misses some time, that Miami team is just in a world of hurt to begin with. But Emmanuel Ogbah is at least going to get more playing time.
Yeah, he's solid. I mean, he's already been solid this season. This wasn't his first good game. So, he was
83.1% of snaps.
Yeah, so that's great. Like he's a nice DL 3-4 type for you.
Yeah, nothing sexy, but serviceable.
Can get you a sack.
Sure.
I mean,
Get you a couple PDs. There was right before they signed him to that big deal, like he had like a crazy PD year, like 7 or 8 PDs. I feel like
That's my favorite disc, a Discmania PD power driver.
yes,
Power
sir.
get to get it all Emmanuel Ogbah sponsorship.
Sure.
Love it.
We can stop with the Malik Neighbors signing with State Farm. We get it, guys. You've all made the same joke. It's not funny anymore.
I
But
don't know. I think it could be funny one of these times.
maybe, but probably not. Emmanuel Ogbah, though, I mean, we just mentioned all these defensive line injuries, so it's like you may be having to start some Emmanuel Ogbah, Bobo.
Yeah, it's getting pretty gross in some spots. I'm in XFL, probably losing Micah Parsons for a couple weeks. I'm still okay.
Yeah, you're loaded up in there. You got Grenard,
Landry, Grenard,
Mac.
You're
fine.
A couple of youngsters.
You don't get to complain.
Gardeck. Might have to throw Gardeck in there.
Don't throw
Gardeck
Gardeck in
Just
there.
get gross.
Might didn't make you a trade.
Little post podcast trade.
I will say, though, as far as my defensive ends go, Thule and Herbig, I expected a little better week from Herbig last week. But
It was tough.
kinda-
He was in a great spot,
kind of a
but
turd.
that happens, you know.
72.7% of snaps, though.
That's
y'all.
all we can ask.
It's IDP.
It's coming.
And did he look good PFF wise?
Win rate, not great, 11.1, and then a 0% pressure rate, apparently. So
pretty awesome.
He's a bust.
Yeah.
He's a bust.
Yikes.
We're out on
So-
Herbig.
we're out on him big, him
He's
small.
back to Herbig.
He was big.
Yeah, it's back to her big. I feel like these 2 talking points were set up to just kind of stick the knife in your back, Addy, because the next headline here is Devon without points.
Oh, wow.
Witherspoon, disappointment through 4 weeks to say the least, often taken as the CB1 overall and a top 5 DB. He has 1 game over 11 points this season and 3 at 7.5 or less. His calling card last year was passes defended and TFLs. Through 4 games so far, he has just 1 of the former and none of the latter. Seattle is on their bye week, so you get a reprieve before having to make a tough decision.
Can I answer for you?
Please.
If you're selling Devon Witherspoon right now, you're clearly not watching football.
I don't think it's a sell conversation. I think it's a are you sitting Devon Witherspoon down conversation.
That dude was so close to like several big plays just last night alone. Close to a sack.
He did
close to
also
an
get put
interception.
on the ground by David Montgomery. That was just a hilarious play.
Yeah, but David
It
Montgomery's
happens, but-
mauled a bunch of people.
Yeah,
He's got like 2 angry run scepters,
Ran
I think,
over
so
the
far
Rams
this year.
in overtime. Just ran over the whole defense. I don't know. Be patient with Witherspoon. That dude is the alignment is awesome. The athleticism is awesome. He's like a little younger kind of L'Jarius Sneed in that like same type of role. They use him all over the field. He can cover great. I don't know. After actually sitting down and watching a game, because I don't get a lot of Seattle games, honestly. Watching a Seattle game with them in a pass heavy offense with the Lions, Witherspoon is freaking awesome, dude.
Well, and you didn't have any chance for PDs or interceptions because Jared Goff was like 18 of 18.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, just like he's just been unlucky, I think, to start. Like
98% of snaps.
Yeah, like the matchups haven't been great until this week. And again, like Amon-Ra like didn't get a ton of targets. Like he was on him quite a bit. So I think that just be patient. Like he still is one of these playmaker types. He's around the ball a lot. He's special. I think the production's going to come. So just chill out, everybody. It's 4
Everybody
games.
be patient.
But also, XFL points. So this is not Big Three. It's a little bit different. But let's talk about this real quick. The top corners right now: Alontae Taylor, Paulson Adebo, Carlton Davis, Keeson Nixon, Jaelan Jones, Monteric Brown, Brian Branch. So there we go. Another Quentin Lake, Riley Moss, and Byron Murphy. All right, let's go to the safeties real quick because I literally thought about this yesterday as well.
One of those, like 2 of those got drafted highly, right?
Yeah, maybe. Nick Cross, Chamari Connor, Jaquan Brisker actually looks awesome. Shout out Buda Bakers there at 4. Jason Pinnock, Julian Love, Tony Adams, Xavier McKinney, Brandon Jones, Deshaun Elliott, Jesse Bates. A couple recognizable names in there, but I mean, none of these names.
DB is gross right now.
It's been really bad. Even like Cross right now in XFL has 64 points on the year.
Remember, early season DB is about who has an interception.
Yep.
This normalizes and levels out as the season goes on, but there's no position with more volatility early in the season than DB. Mm-hmm. It will level out. Everyone just be patient.
Right now, if you're playing Big Three scoring and you have a safety 1, they're averaging probably like 10 points a game. You know, there's just not a lot of points going around the safeties and cornerbacks right now.
Well, passing's down.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And if you have been lucky enough to, start a Nick Cross or whatever, it's probably not going to last for much longer.
No.
Yeah, they're playing. I think they have over 300 snaps.
Yeah.
So
Not to say that
outrageous
he's gonna,
play volume.
Not to say he's going to fall off, but it'll dip a little bit. It'll be 10 to 11 points per game, not 15, 16 points per game.
I wanted to see because I had this conversation with John. Like, okay, what happens if the play volume dips for the Colts? Like, I think the linebackers will be fine. Franklin and Speed will be fine because we've seen these guys be
talented.
good. But what about Nick Cross? And it was all about the alignment, right? And he's still getting the majority of the box snaps for the Colts, 34.3% of his snaps in the box, but 43% deep. Still was not as much as Julian Blackman, who is clearly reestablished as the deep safety, 78.6% of his snaps deep.
That's where he plays better.
I agree. I think it's a nice – so even if the play volume dips, I still think Nick Cross is probably a top 15 safety because of the alignment.
Cross has 31 tackles on the season.
He's a tackle machine, man.
Leading the safeties.
He's actually playing up to the potential that the Colts saw in him before they started him one game and then benched him.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up, though, with the safety, though, Addy, that I know you are a fan of, getting his opportunity because of injury. Taylor Rapp knocked out of Sunday's contest, will enter concussion protocol after trying to stop a full-speed Derrick Henry. Never a good idea to try to do that. Enter rookie Cole Bishop. Coming in as his replacement, he had 6 tackles, a 14.6% tackle rate in limited action. We were excited for Bishop during draft season, so it'll be great to see what the young man has got. Addy Cole Bishop season might be here in Buffalo.
Yes, sir.
Love to see it.
Do love to see it. I mean, I was hoping we were going to see it before now. I thought it was going to be like Bishop and Rapp.
Yeah.
But damn DeMar Hamlin, I think that story is
When you come back from the dead, I think you kind of get
you gotta kind of
give him a starting spot.
Throw the media a bone a little bit, right?
Yep.
It's too good of a story.
Maybe Sean McDermott has comeback player of the year odds for DeMar Hamlin.
Maybe so. But I mean, this is Cole Bishop's job. It should be his job. I think he should be playing right now over DeMar Hamlin. But
we need Cole to come back from the dead, apparently.
Yeah, we need
an outrageous
we need something
storyline.
bad happen to Cole.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully nothing bad happens to Cole Bishop. I do need him to change the sleeves. I think he was wearing like baggy white sleeves.
I thought he looked great, man.
Yeah,
I think that's
that.
the move. I think
Yeah.
that's the move. Like same with Raleigh Moss, like the long
Yes.
sleeves. I think I'd be doing that too.
That
You just
Judon
need
kind
to
of
tighten
look.
him up.
I'm for it, man.
Keenan
get
Allen
you-
always was a long sleeve dude.
the hoodie.
That was such a sick look.
I
He's
loved
too
it.
white for that, guys. He's too white.
I think that's an appropriate white look. I think that's a little like drippy if you're white.
Yeah,
You can't do too much if you're white. You know.
I just think you gotta tighten the sleeves up a little bit. I think they were too baggy.
Well, you want like Garrett Wilson sleeves on them or something?
No,
or-
no, not his actual jersey sleeves, but just the undershirt. It was just a
You
little.
thought that was too baggy.
I thought it was too baggy.
You wanted
yeah.
more like an Under Armour.
Yes, yes, yes.
Cold gear type.
Or like just you could do the compression sleeves, whatever.
No.
copper
Not a good look.
line.
Not a good
Yes,
look.
he needs copper fit.
We're gonna put a
Duracell.
poll on who knows fashion more, me, Bob, or Josh.
Sure.
Maybe it'll just be me and Bob
Yeah.
versus Josh.
Do you
Grudge-
like the baggy white sleeves on the white safety? Sound off in the comments.
Cole
white
Bishop
people.
looked tight.
Hey, I think
He did.
I think he needs to put on like
Too
a nice
white.
little button
Too
up
white for
underneath.
that.
Yes, sir. Like
Maybe
a
roll
flannel.
him up.
A flannel, like what you're wearing right there.
He'd look great in Buffalo. It's
Why
pretty
is no one
cold,
doing
too.
that?
You know? Come on.
Like a red and blue flannel.
It's
in
performance
Buffalo,
wear.
You know?
Hey, grunge is back in.
You're right.
Jinkos are in again.
Sure.
Maybe throw a pair of Jinkos.
Get you
under
some
them
Jinkos on.
pants.
Why not? So, yeah, we are excited for Cole Bishop. I do think that this should be his job. And he's got the opportunity now. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
Hopefully-
that job belongs to him, damn it. Freaking DeMar.
get out of here tomorrow. We don't
It's
need
just
it.
tough. It's a tough thing to have to. It's a tough conversation, you know, to have to go say, "Hey, listen,
The
I know
DeMar.
you almost died,
I appreciate what you've done for us.
but we're gonna go with the rookie.
We're going to go with the white rookie.
You're done.
Yeah.
You'll probably never play again." But one hell of a story.
Well, hey, comeback player of the year, probably solidified. I love that Joe Flacco won it over him for just being old and having a fun Brown season.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we not give it to the guy who came back from the dead?
Y'all, DeMar Hamlin's kind of having an okay season.
Yeah, he's been fine.
Yeah.
4 tackles week 1, 10 week 2. Actually, that's not right.
Like stat wise, he's looking good. I don't know how he is.
4, 16, 15, 8 points in week 4. That's fine. He's right now in the XFL. He's a safety 15. But he does have a pick, and that pick from Trevor Lawrence was a clear overthrow.
Bishop, 51% of his snaps in the box.
Lovely.
Wow.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Pick him up. If he's out there,
Pretty rough missed
Pick 'em
tackle
up.
rate, I'm pretty sure, last week, though.
It's all right.
everyone was just
He's
sliding off
learning.
those sleeves.
Give him some time,
He's
Bob.
learning.
Sliding
Can you
right
play
off those
edge?
sleeves.
Because Von Miller's out.
I was going to say, we may need you to play linebacker because it's Balin Spector and Dorian Williams right now.
What are y'all, we're wrapping up the episode here slowly. What are y'all doing right now in IDP? Any thoughts kind of going through your head? Any more thoughts?
Just survive. Just survive and
Yeah,
advance. dude.
survive.
looking to
it's-
make any
it's
moves?
I was thinking about that. Like, do I got some thirds I could potentially send off to get some guys? Like,
I did that last week. I went and I thought I could beat you with Blake Cashman.
I didn't like that. I didn't care for that.
Uh,
I didn't care for that one bit.
who else did I bring in? Brought in a pretty good little safety, I feel like. Anyway,
That's a good move though. That's like the.
I thought
the
this would be
type-
cheeky to play Cashman against Adam.
Yeah,
He's
I
going to hate that.
Yeah, I didn't like it. You're right.
You won, so
Yeah,
it
but
didn't
still,
bother you too much.
Still, you kind of set me off a little bit. So you
earned
it's
it.
a double loss
I didn't
for
start
you. Really.
greener.
Deserved
I should've
it.
Yeah,
started
you
hard.
really made it tense in here now. In this episode,
You drew my ire and you caught the L. So
What were you thinking before I brought that up?
just
Third, think
that's
some
a
trades.
good that's a good target. Like Blake Cashman. Like what can you go get him for? What can I go get Quincy Williams for right now?
I've thought a lot about what you said a couple weeks ago, Adam. You were talking about how you brought up a guy like, let's get off of him now, and then we're gonna get back in on him later on in his career. Do you remember who it was?
Derwin
Derwin
James.
James.
You know, so I thought about that. I was like, is it really worth hanging on to these like Nick Herbigs and Tooley's and Servassier Dennis and, the guys that are kind of like
On
the
IR.
trajectory's kind of up? Sorry, I'm just saying like he's on my,
Genesis?
Servassier Dennis is,
Servassier.
yeah. He went on IR today. I just
Yeah.
wanted to get that in there while you
Well,
mentioned
hey,
it.
that's interesting for KJ. Let's see if that snap share jumps at all.
I almost dropped KJ Britt for some waiver claims a week or two ago. I'm glad it didn't go through now because, he'll be back up there
yeah, 80% KJ could be nice.
but you're right though.
just out of necessity.
It is kind of worth going and getting these guys. It's like Kyle Van Noy has shown us now that he can do this. Why are we why are we rolling the dice on some of these young Odafe Owehs? You know, just hoping. We're just hoping.
When you can buy these guys, you know, later in their career for cheap. Like Van Noy, what did he cost? Nothing.
Free.
Even Khalil Mack, like you could have got him cheap as hell.
Yeah.
Van Noy was on waivers in our main league.
Yeah.
Literal waivers. Someone dropped him.
Yeah.
KJ Britt, 90% of snaps.
But there's tons like
Levante Davids.
Preston Smith is on waivers. Leonard Floyd was on waivers for a little bit in some of those leagues.
Zadarius Smith is
yeah,
on
you
waivers
can find
right
all
now.
like there's tons of examples of those types that you can get.
The olds.
They've proven it.
Yes,
They've shown it. I do think there is a lot of lessons to be learned in Dynasty to where it's like, people are like, well, you can't just ignore the old guys. It's like, no, you can win championships with the old guys. Like, I would almost recommend maybe going and getting a lot of old guys, especially in IDP. You know, I know in offense, like some of the speed kind of slips a little bit. Keenan Allen's a little bit older. The routes aren't as crisp and everything.
400 pounds.
But in IDP, like I know Bobby Wagner's like kind of beyond it at this point.
still producing.
Yeah. But I mean, that's true, dude. Like these edge rushers that are 30, like go get TJ Watt right now, you know? I thought about old Zach today. That number's a little high. I was like, I wonder if he would trade TJ Watt right now, you know?
Maybe.
Little Micah Parsons
send him back
trade.
a Nick Herbig.
More
with the
likely to
pick.
do it now than he probably ever has been. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
he's 30.
But that's a really fun way to think about playing IDP of like trade these young guys for some assets and stuff. Get your offense young if you play a mixed league, but then go get some of these older guys. You could make a list. Literally, we could probably rattle off 30 to 40 older guys that we could trust.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Macri does mention with KJ Britt, Antoine Winfield coming back could mean more dime personnel snaps, keep Britt from playing on passing downs, but still a good pickup with bye weeks coming up.
Hey, speaking of Bucks, my guy Tyke Smith getting some PT and looking pretty good.
Tyke Smith
Stats, didn't put up the stats last week, but like
79% of snaps.
that's nice. But
Pretty
also
juicy.
the grades are good. Everything's looking good. So I mean, the playing time should continue to be there for him.
93% of his snaps in the slot.
Wow.
Man,
Again, shout out Macri for the article.
Yep. Thank you, Macri.
Love you,
All
Macri.
the stuff that you need in there. So,
Miss you, hon.
well, thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed this Week 4 recap. We'll be back next week. Scott Soltis will be here in the Sode Shack. I'll be up in the Northeast with the family on vacay.
We're burning this down.
This Shack will not be here when I get back.
Is the Shack cursed? You know, that's
be.
something I was thinking about because we had Darius Leonard up here before and
We
he
need to wear it.
immediately fell off a cliff. Now we got Jaelan Phillips, who
Can't stay healthy.
a little uncertain.
Who do we want to put up there to curse them and bring them down, though?
Nick Bolton.
Okay, let's get a Bolton. You got a Bolton jersey, Bobo? We can. I mean, that was
don't.
immediate.
I don't.
He's already
washed.
That was so fast.
But yeah, so Scott will be here with the guys next week, breaking down Week 5 for y'all.
Apparently, Cole Bishop. Josh not a fan.
Yeah, let's get Cole Bishop just a new pair
That's
of
weird.
sleeves.
That's a bad take. That's a bad take for
one
the
of
show.
your worst takes you've had.
You guys have terrible
really
fashion
struggling.
sense.
That's saying a whole lot.
We got
too.
a lot of
I mean,
weeks left, Josh.
Sound
Yeah.
off in the comments if you like Cole Bishop's baggy ass sleeves, looking like he, is going
Can you
to high
make that
school or
the
something.
thumbnail?
No,
Please.
I'm not putting Cole Bishop's bag. I tried to find a picture of the sleeves while we were talking. I couldn't find them. I was thinking Cole Bishop kind of looks like a little kid
I
out
think
there.
that should be the question. That should be the picture. Baggy ass sleeves and just Cole Bishop.
Flip it on the all 22 that you're gonna watch tonight after the episode.
You're
'Cause that's
right.
what we do after every episode. We all go watch the all 22.
We grind the tape. Can't wait after editing this podcast to go grind the tape for y'all. So, yes, make sure you come back next week. Scott will be here. We've got, speaking of Scott Bogman on the Week 5 preview with Jace will be live. When you're listening to this episode, it'll be live over in the after show feed.
Soltis is so scared. He's like, am I really fixing
Yeah.
to go down?
He's like, wait, I'm coming up there, but Josh, you're not going to be there. It's going to be Adam and Bobby.
Someone's got to babysit you guys. I gave it to Macri last time, and I got to spread it around a little bit.
Yeah, it's
true.
Bad deal for Scott.
Yeah, sorry, Scott. Appreciate you falling on that grenade for me while I'm gone on vacation.
Rest
I'll
up.
see you guys back in Week 6. But make sure you're checking out theidpshow.com. Mike Wollert's waiver article is up. The Green Dot article is up. We got the weekly recap game by game, 4,800 words from Aaron breaking down every game. That's where these nuggets are pulled from. Jeff Pomazal will be back with the IDP update. I think him and Scott went 2.5 hours on the Sunday morning live stream, so make sure you're checking that out. 9 a.m. Central.
Whole team built different.
Yeah.
Whole team.
Whole
Heavy hitters.
team built different. So make sure you're following us on your platform of choice.
Oh, they are.
YouTube. I'm trying to do the outro, Addy. If you could just shut up for a couple seconds here. YouTube.com/@the-IDP show. At the IDP show on Twitter. TheIDPshow.com. But until then, y'all enjoy the football, and we'll see you back here in the Sode Shack next week for the Week 5 recap.
It's the IDP show. Now you